Just a quick note before we get started. This is a free public preview of episode 44 for Better Savannah Podcast. It's one of our member only podcasts. Subscribe in the link for the full episode.
Don't you think it's time for the City of Savannah to have an honest tourism management plan? Let SCAD start paying its fair share? And the hospitality industry needs to increase its wages? The impacts of new growth should not cost residents. All local elected officials on council and commission should have term limits. We're working hard to accomplish these policies. We need your help. Please contribute whatever you can, $5, $10, or $20, by going to bettersavannah.org. Donate.
Savannah needs additional tourism. Savannah needs additional tourism.
I mean, I appreciate our tourism community. I appreciate our hoteliers in particular.
The following show and broadcast is a production of Better Savannah, an independent expenditure committee dedicated to better policy outcomes at the state and local level. The views, opinions, and statements made by the hosts and/or their guests do not necessarily reflect the views of Better Savannah.
We know is that we can't continue to grow this economy while this inequality exists and expect to address social problems like poverty, homelessness, and crime. John, your thoughts to that?
Okay.
That theory.
There's an common trope expression in transportation, and I think it applies, Chuck, to the poverty and the homeless issue. And that is in transportation, it's frequently heard, you can't pave your way out of congestion, meaning you can't build new freeways or widen existing freeways fast enough to solve your problem. It's a fallacious notion, but there's so much money involved in those projects, we keep doing them. And we keep trying to improve transportation, but we don't. We never really get ahead of the curve. So the same thing with growth. Growth without, a reasonable and adequate impact fee schedule only costs existing residents. So government is faced with new demands for service from that growth, and government is faced with either raising taxes or other revenue streams to facilitate the service demand, or they reduce services. Well, Savannah's been reducing services on the cheap. It's like the police staffing equation, Chuck. We really have a 200,000 plus service area when you count SCAD students, 11,000. You count visitors on a daily basis of 30, 40 plus thousand, and a homeless population, that's growing at, a brisk rate, 4,000 people on any given day. And you're staffing a police department for a census of 145,000 people in the city of Savannah. I mean, you're not fooling anybody, and people aren't happy with the levels of service that they're getting for the taxes that they're paying. So politicians don't like to increase taxes. We all know that. That's kind of like the third rail, that they won't go there. So they reduce services, and that's why so many of the poorer neighborhoods or census tracts, compare Woodfield Square or Monterey Square's current status and condition to Cann Park. Okay, there's no comparison. I guarantee you that the grass is going to be taller in Cann Park. The litter is going to be greater in Cann Park.
Like we could do an experiment and see how many times the city cleans the square versus Cann Park.
Yeah, well, I'll guess, Chuck, and I'll say Monterey Square gets dialed in every day, and Cann Park probably about once every 2 or 3 weeks. So anyway, I don't want to go too far off on this, but my point is, our premise is that growth can be good and equalizing through the implementation of impact fees. Absent impact fees and runaway growth, you're going to have a decision of either raising taxes or reducing services. And why put yourself in that position when there's a tried and true since 1990 solution to that, which is impact fees? Our problem is based on that workshop, and I know it's a preliminary first cut on impact fees. It's looking and sounding like they want to do a Tinker Toy Lego version of impact fees that essentially protects the builders and developers' profits by not adding too much onto the cost of new construction. But it's a token effort because, quite frankly, we've beat the drum on this subject for 10 years now, and they can't run from it any longer. So they figured out, well, okay, we'll embrace it, but we'll minimize it so it doesn't hurt our benefactors, the builders and developers, and the civil engineers, and the architects, and the contractors. Which you got to keep reducing service at Cann Park to protect them. That's the moral dilemma that Savannah faces. We've got a mayor that is, an expert in public relations and imaging. His branding skills are excellent. Very few people have that level of skill, and I'm just concerned that people are hopeful because of the rhetoric, and as well they should be. But sooner or later, they're going to have to say, where's the beef? Is Cann Park getting the same treatment as Monterey Square? And just trying to close that gap is what we're trying to do.
And just everybody should understand that this thing about Monterey Square and Cann Park is a metaphor. Okay, it's a metaphor for every type of service this government provides. Who gets the priority? The people on the supply
Yeah,
side or the people on the demand side? The residents or the businesses?
Where's Spot Shotter? It's all over the tourism
Citywide.
sector.
Yeah, not citywide. It's supposed to be citywide. Lights, camera, action.
Yeah. How many spot shotters are there out in the 1st district or the 5th district? You know, they're still waiting for them. How many years have we promised that sort of technology to the most needy neighborhoods? You know, since the Deloach administration and even going back to Edna's, they're not there. Nobody's saying, hey, man, you broke your promise. They keep saying, oh, it's coming. It's coming. Just be patient. Well,
another technology is going to help it next month.
Well, things happen quickly for the Emerald Zone. I mean, Broughton Street's getting a makeover. Really, did it need it? No. Is it nice to have? Yeah. Well, if you're ignoring the basic fundamental promises that you made for the outlying neighborhoods in the less affluent parts of town, and you keep dumping all this money into the tourism zone, man, that creates a lot of stress and unhappiness in the citizens of Savannah. And that's what we're seeing. So that's it. What do you think about how do you think council is going to come down on this, Chuck?
You know, John, I mean, I think there's some room for negotiation between now and that decision. I think all right, guys, make sure to subscribe for the full show. Appreciate you stopping by. Thanks for stopping by.
I appreciate our tourism community. I appreciate our hoteliers.
So what is an impact fee and why is it important? What an impact fee does is give us one opportunity to, deal with growth.